everyone to the first episode of the DC Review. My name is John and I will be your host. And before we get started, I want to give everyone a brief mission statement as to what this project is going to be all about. As the name implies, this is going to be a review show focusing on the DC Universe. Now, that's going to include comics, books, movies, TV shows, action figures, role playing games, and everything and anything related to the strange and wonderful DC universe. Because it's a universe that I love and I want to share that love with all of you. To start things off, we are going to talk about The Flash Annual #1, written by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, with a whole cast of artists. Now, guys, today is August 29th. I got back from the comic shop about 2.5 hours ago. This is the first book that I read because I have been absolutely enjoying this new interpretation of The Flash, written by Francis Manapul. Uh, the art has just been phenomenal, and the storylines have been interesting. Uh, a good mix of the new, but also injecting these stories with past elements of the Flash mythos. Um, the Flash is and always has been one of my favorite DC characters. So in this annual, what we are getting is a huge rogue war, something that's been building up for the past few issues in this series, where different rogues have started to be introduced. Now, in issue 11, Barry Allen, who's faked his own death and has taken a job as a bartender at a rogues bar. And who does he meet when he first walks in, his first day on the job? Leonard Snart. I absolutely loved this. The whole dynamic between the rogues, and the Flash is it really, for me, it doesn't get much better than that. I've a huge fan of the run that Jeff Johns and Scott Collins did back in the early 2000s. So I was pleasantly surprised when I opened this up, and Scott Collins was one of the artists on this annual. Very cool to see him back on the Flash. Now, the way that this story is handled is they break it down into 5 chapters. Each chapter is then handled by a different artist. So well, I'm going to start with the things that I really liked about this issue. I really enjoyed how they're starting to delve into the history and the past of the Rogues, and to see how that fits in this new DC universe. And Scott Collins, his story is just great, where we see the Rogues in different costumes. Excuse me, some of their original costumes, which I really like to see. So we get the kind of origin of the Rogues in this issue, and we learn what has kind of transpired to turn them against one another. Leonard Snart is now no longer a rogue. The team is being led by his sister, the Glider. So Mirror Master, Heatwave, Weather Wizard are all following her, and she is after her brother. There's definitely some family struggles here. So Captain Cold teams up with the Flash to kind of battle the Rogues, and to prove to his sister that she doesn't have what it takes to be a leader of the Rogues. She doesn't understand the ethics and the rules that the team was founded upon. Again, something I love about Captain Cold. He's a villain, but man, God bless him, he sticks to some principles. It's not just about killing. It actually means something to be a rogue. Great, I love it. Now, what I didn't like about this annual is when we get to the fifth chapter. This is kind of the big throwdown between the Rogues and the Flash and Captain Cold. It's the longest chapter in the annual, and I just found it to be the most boring. I mean, it's a big slugfest. There's some cool elements. They go into the mirror world. That's pretty sweet, but I would have liked to see more of this character development and more exploring the past of the Rogues. And then at the end, Captain Cold's plan that he had all along, and I saw it coming a mile away, and I honestly would expect more of him. And then there's a big reveal, big cliffhanger at the end, which I was hoping for a little more closure in this issue, but we're gonna have to wait to see how this is gonna wrap up. Frustrating thing is, this annual is gonna lead in to issue 0, which is going to be an origin story. So we are gonna have to wait at least until October to see where things go. Now, in the end, I really did enjoy this issue. Uh, it wasn't great, and it definitely has not been as good as the previous 12 issues have. Okay, next, Aquaman issue 12. This series is by far my favorite new title of the reboot. Jeff Johns, Ivan Rice, absolutely killing it. I'm a huge fan of their work on Blackest Night. This is, especially with Rice's work, it's even better. He has really become one of DC's top artists. I even heard, someone saying online, he is out Jim Leeing Jim Lee. He is the new Jim Lee. So here we go. Issue 12. We are at the penultimate issue of the Others storyline. Now, this is a story that I think more titles in the new DCU should be doing. It says, let's explore more of the histories and backstories of these characters in new ways, and let's flesh this out and do something completely different that hasn't been done. That's what Jeff Johns is doing. He introduced the Others, which is a team that Aquaman adventured with before his work with the Justice League and before his relationship with Mera. So really cool stuff. And then we've got Black Manta. Black Manta is out to assassinate the Others. In the first issue of this story, he kills Kahina the Seer. Kind of sets the tone for a very dark story. And we see an Aquaman that we haven't really seen before. One who is, to be frank, bloodthirsty and out for revenge. So we've got Black Manta going after the Others. Now, Aquaman doesn't want any help from them. He's saying, this is my fight, and he decides he is going to take it straight to Black Manta. And, like I said, he's out for blood. He wants to kill Black Manta. And we learned in a few issues ago that Aquaman actually killed Black Manta's father, which set this whole dynamic, this blood feud between the two of them. So I think it makes Black Manta, I mean, you almost feel for him in a way that you wouldn't. I mean, it's a very, this dynamic between them is very personal. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water here. Okay, so Aquaman, he's after Black Manta. The issue, it ends, like I said, this is the penultimate issue. This ends with Aquaman. He's unhinged. He wants Manta dead. I can't wait to see how this series is going to wrap up. The problem, again, as I mentioned with The Flash, is issue 12 is leading into a 0 issue. So we're going to get some backstory into Aquaman, and we're going to have to wait until October to see how this story wraps up. Excuse me. Finally, we are going to talk about DC Adventures Heroes and Villains Volume 2, published by Green Ronin. This is a supplement to the DC Adventures role-playing game, which is based on Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. And what this book does is it provides a source for players and game masters of fully statted heroes from the DC universe. The first volume covered, heroes and villains from A through L. This is A through K, and this is L through Z. So we get some really, really great characters in this new edition. Some obscure characters as well. I was really, really happy to see the Royal Flush Gang. We get Tracy 13, Terraman, Wildcat, the Young All Stars. I mean, there's a whole slew of characters. And the great thing is, especially for a game master, you can basically plug and play with these characters. They're professionally designed using the core rules. So if you want to introduce some of these characters into your game, all you have to do is pick up this book, and you're ready to go. Now, to give just a quick breakdown of this DC Adventures RPG, there's 3 books out so far. We've got the core rule book, the DC Adventures Heroes Handbook. So that's basically all you need to really play. And then we've got Heroes and Villains Volume 1, Heroes and Villains Volume 2, which, as I've said, fleshes out the characters of the DCU. And then coming down the line is DC Adventures Universe, which is going to flesh out the wonderful and weird locales of which we see in the comics. The strange thing and kind of unfortunate, the unfortunate thing about these products is they came right at a time when DC has been rebooting their entire line. So some of the characters are not completely up to date as far as, powers that have been tweaked and histories that have been rewritten. But the core concept of the character is there, and what you really, really need is the powers. And if you've got the powers, you can then, as a game master, as a player, make adjustments to make it fit with the new DCU. I mean, that's what I'm doing with the game that I run and the games that I play in. I use these archetypes, but then I tweak them a little bit just to make them reflect the changes in the new DCU. So I highly, highly recommend this series. I mean, if you're into superhero role-playing games, it doesn't get better than Mutants and Masterminds. And then for me, I'm all about DC Universe. So the DC Adventures game, best RPG on the market. Superhero RPG on the market, in my opinion. As you see here, we got a nice, sexy Alex Ross cover, which appears to be taken from the Justice graphic novel, I think. And all of the art, there's art, interspersed all through this book, as you can kind of see. You got some Blue Devil action going on there, Shadow Pact. It's all art we've seen before. None of this is original art. They've kind of taken it from different series, different comics from a whole bunch of artists. But that's okay. I mean, it's all top quality. It's bound well. This is really a great bang for your buck. Clocks in at $49.95. Totally worth it, if you ask me. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of the DC review. I'm still kind of getting my feet wet here. This is the 3rd time I've tried to film this. I'm hoping the video quality isn't too bad. I tried it on my camera the first time and it just cut out. Didn't have a memory card large enough. So any questions, comments, feedback, leave it down here. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions you have or your opinions on the products I reviewed. If you think I am totally off base and if you think the Flash Annual or Aquaman number 12 is horrible comics, let me know and I will kindly tell you that you are wrong. Thank you again for watching and I will see you next time.